Hello and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. I'm Hilary Hutchison, and today I have an incredible guest with me, Furqan Athar. With over 25 years of experience in the retail industry, Furqan has played a pivotal role in shaping Dubai's retail landscape, contributing to iconic projects like the Mall of the Emirates and Dubai Festival City. Beyond his impressive career, Furqan is also a passionate longevity enthusiast and advocate for regenerative health. Let's dive into his journey, exploring his innovative approach to business, health, and personal growth. Welcome to the show, Furqan, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Hilary. How are you? Thank you very much for inviting me.
So lovely that you are able to join us. Before we get into the meat of things, let's talk about your background.
Well, people talk about being at the right place at the right time. I believe that people are fortunate. So I live my life in abundance, and I believe that I was very fortunate throughout. So I was like 4 years old when my parents decided to move to UAE, and I predominantly lived all my life here. Just went back for higher education to Pakistan and to UK. But I was lucky that I've been in the region for a long time. So, being here while the growth was happening throughout the region for the past few decades, I've been very, very blessed. Then I chose a career in business and accounting or consulting. I was fortunate there as well. I've been fortunate to work for some of the top companies in the region, PwC, KPMG, Majid Al Futtaim. I've been blessed throughout by opportunities and moves that have really let me then have opportunities which would not be average for other people.
Very fortunate, but also amazing that you can see that. You can say, well, I've had some good breaks in my life to be where I am today. What led you to start a career in retail industry?
Again, like I said, I was lucky. I always wanted to be a self-made man. Funny thing to say, people want to be pilots and mechanics and rocket propellers and God knows what else. But for some reason, I wanted to be a self-made person. So I was just itching for the opportunity to start on my own. So retail, starting small little trinkets and carts and small retail was always something that I wanted to do. I started retail very small. But before that, I was lucky that I was working at KPMG in Dubai. We were auditing Majid Al Futtaim, the big conglomerate group that it is right now. At that time in 1998, Majid Al Futtaim had literally 12 employees, and I was one of the first few people to be hired. And I was just working at KPMG, and they just took me on board from there. So then I had a launching platform for one of the top companies in the region to be there from the beginning and to see the conglomerate it became. And from there, because their focus was on retail, it became my focus as well.
And was it during this time that you got involved with these mega projects, these developments like Mall of the Emirates and Dubai Festival City?
I would easily call Mall of the Emirates my baby. I was working for Majid Al Futtaim for 5 years. When we opened the door in September 2004, I was actually one of the general managers of the team. At that time, people keep saying that, I was instrumental at the start of a particular project, but I believe there must have been 100 people instrumental at the start of Mall of the Emirates, and I was just fortunate to be one of them. I was there on day one of the door opening of Mall of the Emirates, then of Dubai Festival City, then even in Dubai Mall. I was just lucky that, whenever these projects were being launched, I was in the teams at the opening of all of these. Because of that, a lot of people are part of the operations or management of major projects. But I believe there are very few lucky people who are there at the opening, which means they are there at the development and the planning of major projects. That's where you really learn. You literally have to start things from the ground up. And that grind really teaches you a lot.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. And as you say, to be at the right place at the right time, to be at the start of these major projects was fantastic experience and gave you fantastic opportunities to learn and to grow along as these developments were growing up.
You can even take a page out of Dubai and then UAE for that, right? I mean, I've lived in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. In fact, from the time where 90% of the space was nothing but desert. World Trade Center was the only building between Dubai and Abu Dhabi. That was the first building you would see. I think it was built in 1973 or in the 70s. And then you could literally go all the way up to Karama and you wouldn't find anything. So, from there, I've seen the growth of Sheikh Zayed Road, the concept of Expo, the concept of all of these malls and development. And then I believe Dubai Festival City was the first ever privately planned and made master plan community in the whole region. I was a part of Dubai Festival City as well. And now mixed-use developments and master planning communities seem like you bat your eyelid and there is one more community. Imagine that was the first one. And again, just I was lucky that, I was always asked to join a team when these things were taking place. And my only thing was that I never hesitated in taking a chance. Whenever something new was about to happen, I would be more about ask not why, ask why not.
I love that attitude. And as you say, the growth in Dubai has been absolutely phenomenal. And to have been part of some of these huge projects is absolutely fantastic. Now we've spoken about, you've been at the right place, the right time, very fortunate to be at the ground floor of all these major developments. But let's talk about the reality, though. What were some of the challenges that you experienced while working on these iconic projects?
Actually, challenges teach you more than because under success gets buried a lot of the reality of what could have been improved. When you are facing tough times, you really have to sift through the sand and figure out what went right or what went wrong, right? Dubai Festival City was a project that really was a difficult one. I mean, let me start from Mall of the Emirates. When Mall of the Emirates opened on first day, there was no signage from the first interchange all the way till Mall of the Emirates. There was nothing in between. I'm talking about nothing but sand. So literally, I think on Sheikh Ride Road, the ramps that were built, which led to project, we literally had to put up the signs saying that malls this way or development this way. Those were one of the first signs that we were instrumental in setting up. And from there, Business Bay Bridge had to literally be built so that someone could go towards the Dubai Festival City. And then while developing literally a mini city like Dubai Festival City, we literally spent most of our time and energy trying to figure out how infrastructures and sewerage systems and roads could be built for literally a city within a city and what would be required for that. The banking that is required at the intricate level of detail, because I'm a chartered accountant and a finance guy by background, the amount of money that we had to raise at that time to build projects like these were unprecedented and never even considered before. Literally, you're talking about asking people to do things that have never been done before, right? But that's where the fun is.
I love your attitude that you learn more from overcoming challenges and dealing with these huge, as you said, almost unprecedented issues of raising money and all the things that goes along with it. And once you're successful, that's where the fun is. I absolutely love that. Let's change direction a little bit and talk about something that's close to your heart. You're known as an advocate for longevity and regenerative health. What sparked your interest in this field and how do you integrate these principles in your daily life?
Well, I've been a sports enthusiast for a long time. I wasn't really a principled or a structured person. I mean, I would run because it was my nature, or I'd go to the gym, but it would be very unstructured. And when I touched 40, I started to feel the inflammation and the pang of the fact that I couldn't really go and do all of these things naturally, stomach acting up, the typical problem that keep happening, libido being affected, stress levels not being managed, sleep being disturbed. And I started going to the fundamentals of why these things happen and really focus on my health. Education becomes my reason to go into or dig deep into something. And from there, I found this great world of podcast. I owe so much to all of these great podcasters in the health and longevity and wellness space that really educated me from ground up. And I really understood the reasons why we need to take care of our health. I'm talking about basic things like sleep and nutrition and supplements and all the other important elements like neuro stress pillars and things like that. I'm 52 right now, and this was like at about 45 odd. And I said, you know what? Do I want to do for the next 45, 50 years? I can only work till maybe 60 at one of these big conglomerates. And then what? So I said, I should change course and think about longevity as my way of life. And why wouldn't I want to work in a place where that is the basis? So I basically sold off my retail and some small businesses, another big plunge. And I set up one of the region's first ever integrated healthcare and longevity clinic, Zoe ME, which is what I'm focusing on now.
That's brilliant. I love how you said that you got a lot of education through podcasts. I'm absolutely the same. I listen to podcasts all the time, and there is so much knowledge out there. If you just tune in and listen to it, you can really get information, get education that can change your life. And it sounds like this was also the impact that it had on you?
People keep talking about the dangers and the perils of social media and all of that. And I keep saying, one of my gurus is a gentleman called Peter Diamandis, and he has a concept called the abundance mindset. Where people look at the positive things in life instead of the negative. And I keep saying, a knife could kill someone and a scalpel could save someone, right? So everything has a positive and negative. It's just about what you do with the knowledge or the information or the position you have and how you have an outlook on things. So I've started for the past 5-6 years to really focus on my outlook and mindset on every issue.
You are so right. It's the way we use these tools that we are given. They can be used for good or for bad, but for sure there's a lot out there that can help us for good, especially when it comes to our health and balance in life. So let's talk a little bit about Zoe. You do say it's Zoe, right?
Yes. Zoe means life in Greek. So Zoe Me could be termed as my life or Zoe Middle East because I wanted to give it as a tribute to the region. Zoe is a 7-pillar healthcare center, which is one of the first integrated facilities in the region where we are making the customer or the client be at the center, where we first look at your diagnostics, your information, set it as a base, build it into an AI platform, and then look at how can we help improve your life? What problems do you have? Take a consult and a questionnaire from you, and then build a program that's more customized to the needs of making you have a healthier living lifestyle, as you might put it.
That's fantastic. And you have one location right now.
Yes, the plan is for a lot more. So the Zoe Me moonshot is that it's a data-driven facility where we make informed, measured, monitored, and managed a way of living for you and basically empower technology to make you the CEO of your own health. Our location is right now across the road from Four Seasons Jumeirah. Ambitiously, I would like to have 10 locations across 10 cities in 10 years, and then an app on the system for mass scale, which would be a more simplified version. And then let's see where time and opportunity takes us.
I certainly will hope for your success in achieving that goal. That's very ambitious. 10 clinics in 10 cities in 10 years. That's fantastic. Just unpack a little bit for our audience. What happens when somebody comes to your longevity clinic? So they get blood tests and they get health tests, and then what happens?
Thank you for the opportunity. Zoe is more about educating you firstly about what your health is and what are the problems that are causing an impediment, right? You might come to us because you're feeling chronic inflammation, fatigue, anxiety, stress, disorder. It could be anything at all. And or you could just be the kind of person that I am who says that if you're not optimized, then you're compromised. From there, we take on you as a challenge and we say, okay, what is your goal in life? Do you want to live long? Do you want to live healthy? Have you got issues regarding some part of your body? Is there an issue with mental health, stress, sleep? And then we basically get your blood done and understand from the inside, what is your body telling us? And from there, we look at all the fundamentals of where you should be, set up what should be a baseline for you, suited to your needs. And then from there, we basically link all of the 7 pillars of health back to you at the epicenter. So how should your sleep be? And then we teach you about sleep that, look, you leave your phone for charging in the night. Would your phone work if it's not charged? No. Well, would your phone work well if it's at 40% charge? Well, for maybe half a day. Okay, great. Why don't you apply that in your own life? Why don't you make sleep the epicenter of your focus? I call myself a sleep professional. People say they sleep in the night and they wake up in the morning so that they can have a full professional day. I say I spend my whole day so that I can be a professional sleeper at night. My whole day is focused on how do I take care of my mental and my physical health so that I can sleep well in the night, so that I can have a great day again tomorrow. And just like that, we educate you on nutrition is not about feeding your body. It's about nourishment. What does nourishment mean? What do macronutrients mean? How can the minerals affect your body? What does zinc, magnesium, salts do to your body? Supplements, why are they required? When should they be taken? Why? Aesthetics, the skin is the largest organ of your body. How important is the skin? What can you do with it? How do you manage stress better? There are about 7 pillars of health, and we basically make a holistic plan with a focus on each and every pillar. And every week there is a awareness of one of the pillars where we focus and we teach you as much as possible. And eventually the job of a physician or clinician should not be to tell you what to do, but should be to educate you, to empower you to become the CEO of your own health.
That's excellent. I can hear that a lot of your focus is going into education. Also love the holistic approach. So it's not just, here's one solution to one problem, go and take a pill. It's looking at the whole body, how does everything work together, and give the person enough information so that they can make the right decisions because they've been educated about this. I also love the analogy of comparing sleep with charging a mobile phone. We somehow think that we can cheat by sleeping less and we're going to get away with it. But as you say, if you don't charge your mobile phone up, it's going to die on you. So I love that.
I think the analogies are what help people relate more to daily life. That's what we do. I can guarantee you that I can make cardboard palatable and put enough salt and condiments in it for your body to think it's food and turn your brain off for a moment. Through the chemical, that'll basically tell your brain that, yeah, you just had food. But would it nourish you? No. So, we literally break it down. The advantage of the podcast of today's world, as you and I both know, is that consultants of the past have always kept one hand behind the back and said, my ace is up my sleeve. But in the podcast, it's a re-education of the system which says that share information, share knowledge. It will empower people, enlighten people, and make them more in control of their life. So right now, we are going in our clinic along the same mentality that educate people so that basically they're on their own journey and you can help them on the journey. Don't try to control their journey.
I really like the way you said that about cardboard being turned into food, because honestly, some of the fast food today is no better than cardboard with condiments.
I didn't take the brand names.
Now, I know that biohacking is also a significant part of your approach to health. What are some of the practical biohacking techniques that you recommend for those looking to optimize their well-being?
There are great biohackers right now like Brian Johnson, Dave Asprey, and a myriad of others. And people look at biohacking as some sort of green pill that will cure them. But that might not be the case because those people are adventurous and they have reached a level of understanding and a control of their body where biohacking can be dialed up and dialed down because of the control they have of the rest of the parts of their body. So what we tell people is that there should be a two-phased approach. On phase one level, get everything else in line. Movement is a combination of strength or gym, endurance, which is your cardiovascular, your mobility, which is your flexibility, and your recovery. All these four combine to make movement, which is the way a human being moves. Get all these lined up, then look at the hack. Get your nutrition lined up. Then talk about taking NMN. Get your your aesthetics lined up. Then do these different biohacking kind of tricks. So keep your biohacking as the phase two. Before that, let's not rely on these one-stop solutions to be able to resolve our problem and take some responsibility and get everything else in order.
Thank you for that. I think that's good advice. Don't look for shortcuts. Get everything lined up and then do tap into. There are things that we can do to help, but we need to have, again, as you mentioned earlier, the holistic approach to look after the whole body.
In addition, we spend years and years and years in education system. In nursery, your teacher hand holds you and tells you everything. Later on, primary, they still micromanage you. And then as you go along your years, they give you more and more leeway. Only when you're at the master's or thesis stage do they say, okay, you know what, go experiment on your own. But people, because they think they hear a big guy talk, they say, let me experiment without really getting into primary school. Does that make sense?
That's absolutely true. Very, very good. Now we're going to change direction again and look back at business side of things. What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to make a mark in their respective fields, especially in terms of embracing challenges and learning from failures?
Why are you doing what you're doing? Have you got a goal in mind? Like sometimes people say, I want to make money. That might happen, that might not happen. Would you regret what you're doing just because you did not make money in the end? So I always tell people, don't look for the result. Be the journey, man. The journey is the fun. Don't stop looking at your left and right through the journey because you're trying to achieve a goal. I give an example to all the people that my goal, they say, okay, fine. So what's your goal? I say, my goal is the horizon. Horizon, why? Because it's far away from me. I can try and achieve it. And it goes further and further, but I don't mind it because it's still in my sight and it's good enough for me. I want a goal that's a bit far away from me that I'm going towards, but be a dopamine-seeking person, not a dopamine-encashing person. When you encash dopamine, you basically go down a bit. But if you're dopamine-seeking, then you will always like the struggle. For entrepreneurs, The struggle should be the fun. As an entrepreneur, people tell me, what's your goal or focus during the day? I say my goals and focuses during the day in my business are all the areas which are in crisis, which need support, or which are in problems. Everything else that's happening hunky-dory, why would I sit with them and glorify myself? They don't need me. It's like a child. When a child, you pay more and more attention to it. As it grows up, you let it have independence. Same is the case with business. Always focus on the areas of the business that are in crisis because the buck stops at you. Better focus on all the problems.
Very good. I also love how you started off with saying that money is not the goal or should not be the goal. There's bigger reasons, or there should be bigger reasons for the choices that we make. And to not look at the destination, but enjoy the journey, because that's where we're going to spend most of our time. Some excellent advice. Thank you for that. Now we've reached the fun part of our show, where we will dive into some rapid fire questions, our version of a game show. Are you ready?
Fire away.
Okay. What's one book that changed your perspective on life or business?
The Moonshot and Mindset is a podcast series by Peter Diamandis. I'd rather just divert to there, and it has enough solutions for everybody.
If you could teleport to any place in the world right now, where would you go?
Right where I am, because I know it best, and it's always been good to me.
Lovely. Describe your perfect day off in one sentence.
I don't like days off. I'd rather have a fulfilling day. My fulfilling day, for my definition, would be I have a 10-month-old baby. I wake up in the morning. I have a great day walking out in the sunshine. I have time with my baby. I have a lovely wife I have breakfast with. I have a fulfilling day at work. I go back to a good gym routine. I take a pool dive and I spend half an hour in the pool thinking of planning the next day. And I have a fulfilling sleep. No better day.
Does sound like a good day. Well done. What's one health tip you think everyone should follow?
Eat better, and take care of your friends and family.
Very good. Lots of tips in that. What is one thing that you do every day, no matter how busy you get?
Breathe deep. You have no idea how much power there is in deep breathing and being able to control your physiology. Stress levels go down, and 100 other things are controlled just by deep breathing.
I think intentional, controlled breathing can change a lot for your health. I think that's a very good tip. Well, thank you for playing along. That was easy enough. Now, before we wrap up, we'd like to ask you about your green pill moment. Could you share an inspiring or life-changing experience that you have gone through, your green pill moment?
About 9-10 years ago, I was with my two daughters, which are now 20 and 18. They were talking about how do we become happy, and I was telling them that I love taking care of them, and that makes me happy, and their mother and this and that. But my younger one asked me, what makes you happy? What do you do that makes you happy? That's when I suddenly triggered and I realized that I never really focused on myself. And I suddenly realized that to be more valuable to me, to myself and to my own family, I need to start focusing on myself and to make myself the example that I want others to follow. So that's when the health journey began and the abundance mindset came into being. And I said, you know what? Sometimes you need to not be such an introvert and basically sort of lead the way.
Excellent. So a question by your young child is what made the difference for you.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey with us today, Furqan. I'm so sure our audience is going to be so inspired by both your story and the excellent tips and advice that you have shared with us today. But before we finish up, could you let our listeners know where they can find and follow you online? And we'll also make sure to put this in the show notes.
Well, my name is Furqan Athar, so you can check me out on LinkedIn. And the website of the company is www.zoe-me.com. We are in Jumeirah, right opposite Four Seasons Hotel. And we'd love to welcome anybody who wants to follow us and be with us on this journey of their own health. Thank you very much again for this brilliant opportunity.
Thank you again, Furqan. We wish you all the very best on your ongoing adventures, and I'll definitely be following you to see how many of those 10 clinics that you end up opening over the next 10 years.
And I want to see you here.
Super. And to our amazing listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. Spread the word and help us keep bringing you more fascinating conversations. Stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll catch you next time.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.